And our top focus of this hour is on the Citizenship Amendment Act showdown that has returned. Now, in a major development on CAA, government sources have informed CNN News 18 that the rules for the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019 are ready with the central government and will be notified much before the announcement of the Lok Sabha elections this year. The entire process will be online. The applicants will have to declare the year when they entered India without travel documents, and no document will be sought from the applicants. Union Home Minister Amit Shah, while addressing a gathering in West Bengal, sent out a stern message to the opposition by saying that CAA is the rule of the land and that nobody can stop it.
पश्चिम बंगाल में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने का मतलब है शरणार्थी जो आए हैं उनको सीएए के माध्यम से नागरिकता दे देंगे। और दीदी कई बार हमारे शरणार्थी भाइयों को गुमराह कर रही कि सीएए होगा नहीं होगा, कानून बनाकर रुक गए। आज मैं आप सबके सामने कहकर जाता हूं, सीएए इस देश का कानून है, इसको कोई रोक नहीं सकता, सबको नागरिकता मिलने वाली है।
And CNN News 18's Payal Mehta is joining us on this story. Payal, a very good morning to you. What more details do we have as far as the CAA rules are concerned that are ready with the central government?
Well, the CAA was passed in 2019, and after that, the central government wanted to notify the rules. But on multiple occasions, the Union Home Minister had said that it was not possible because the long-drawn exercise of the vaccination was going on because of COVID. Now we are given to understand, and we've seen not just Amit Shah but even Union Minister for State for Home, Ajay Mishra Teni, also say that these rules will be notified before the Lok Sabha election. So obviously, with the rules being notified and the process becoming online, it's going to be a much faster implementation, is what we're given to understand. People can apply for this citizenship through their mobile phones and through online processes. And like you mentioned, no documentation really will be required. So this is something which the BJP has said has been part of their poll manifesto, part of their agenda, and of course is going to see the light of the day.
Also, Payal, we saw that there were large-scale protests against the CAA in 2019. What was the objection?
Well, there were multiple objections, especially from the Muslim community, in terms of how this is going to be implemented. What are the rules that are going to take place as far as this is concerned? Remember, the exercise was carried forward in a way, in Assam, but that actually had to be done again because the court had rejected this. So all of these legal implications have been there, but now the government is very, very sure of the process. They've devised a special portal for this. People can apply on this online. And of course, this is going to be implemented because, the Indian government has been saying one thing that, where do the minorities who are not Muslims, where do they go? Which country do they go to? They do not have any country to go to except for India. And that's exactly the duty of India to make sure that at least the minorities who've been suffering in other countries can come back to their homeland.
Also, Payal, the question that has been raised by the opposition and also the people time and again is that why are the Muslim refugees not in the list, and why are the Rohingyas also not in the list?
Well, like I said, that, for Muslims, there are other countries in the Middle East, etc., which are, of course, Muslim-ruled countries. And they're the countries that they can really go to. But the argument that has been, as far as the Indian government is concerned, on multiple occasions, even the Home Minister has even spoken about this, including on the floor of the House when the bill was being passed, saying that where do the Hindus go? Where do the Jains go? Where do the Buddhists go? They have no other country to go except for India. That's the reason. This has been something which has been promised by the BJP in its manifesto in 2014 and both in 2019. And of course, in 2019, it was implemented. In a sense, the bill was passed in both houses. And after that, of course, like I said, that since there was no possibility of carrying out an exercise like this, the lack of available resources that were engaged in the COVID management and, of course, in the vaccination, that's the reason the government has said it is going to be implemented. Now, the CAA rules implementation becomes extremely important because that is going to pave way for the delimitation to take place. And after delimitation, the census will take place. So multiple bills, including the women reservation bill, can be passed only after the census.
All right, Payal, please stay with us. Now we'll quickly walk you through what the CAA Act 2019 says. Now, the CAA Act of 2019 gives citizenship to non-Muslims from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. So these are the neighboring nations of which the citizens of which the CAA Act 2019 gives citizenship to the non-Muslim citizens from these countries. Now, citizenship also for those who fled religious persecution parent countries. So this is also for the non-Muslims from all these countries, and only those who entered India before December 31st, 2014 are eligible. Anybody who has entered after December 31st, 2014 is not eligible to get citizenship in India, and this cuts eligibility for naturalization 11 to 5 years residency. So this also cuts the eligibility for naturalization, and the ILP states and 6 scheduled areas in Northeast are exempted from the CAA Act 2019, and in fact citizenship not automatic, due process to be laid out. So the process, we'll be getting to know what exactly is the process, but the citizenship will not be automatic and the due process will be followed, and OCI holders registration can be cancelled. So this is also a point in the CAA Act 2019, that the OCI holders registration can also be cancelled. Payal, coming back to you, so the question that arises is that what happens to the Muslim refugees that do not have the required documents with them?
Well, in fact, anybody, whether it's a Muslim or a non-Muslim, anybody who does not have documentation, that person will not be allowed. In fact, the Home Minister on multiple occasions has said that the rule of the law has to be followed. And that's the reason, when you have neighboring countries where people are facing persecution, like in Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan, where do these refugees go? They have no other country to go to. So that's the reason they say that it is important to bring back the Hindus, the Jains, the Buddhists, and six of these minorities who have been suffering at the hands of these neighboring states to come back to the country. But of course, due rule of process will have to be followed. And that's the reason the process is going to be minus any human intervention. This is going to be an online process. That's where it really stands. So obviously, that's the assurance coming in, saying that anybody who has the requisite papers, etc., and anybody who follows the guidelines in terms of, like you mentioned, that have to be in India for 2014. That's something which is going to be followed. So we'll have to just wait and see how this implementation really takes place, because there was a lot of fear among the people in the Northeast, especially in Assam, saying that they'll face an influx, of people from Bangladesh, etc. But they were told that anybody who does not have the requisite papers, that's not going to be allowed. And of course, the sixth schedule, which is very, very sacred to the Northeast, that will also be in place.
Also, Payal, what will be the impact of the CAA on the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, as the rules will be laid down much before the announcement of the elections?
It's a very, very important, implementation that will take place, because, like I said, the CAA implementation will ensure that the people who are living as refugees in the country will become legitimate voters, which means there will be an increase in the number of voters. Every political party would like to see more voters being added to their list. That is something which will also be there. And like I said, that even if you have to implement bills like the Women Reservation Bill, which is passed by the government recently, that has to be done and the process has to be followed. So there has to be CAA rules which have to be notified. That implementation needs to take place, after which, of course, we'll see a delimitation takes place, and then census. And only after census you can see the Women Reservation Bill, etc., being implemented. So obviously, the immediate impact will be on the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, where, of course, many people can become eligible to become genuine voters.